Today we're going to be taking another look at a feature from Metoro Guardian. Guardian is Metoro's AI SRE. It's responsible for detecting, investigating, and fixing issues inside of production Kubernetes clusters. The feature we're going to be looking at today is something called deployment verification, and the premise behind it is really quite simple. Deployments are normally when things go wrong. So whether you change the code or you change the configuration behind it, that can often lead to a change in behavior of the application server itself, and subsequently, that can lead to an issue. So if you had unlimited resources, you had, say, 1 million SREs, you'd want to have them validate every single deployment. And really the idea behind deployment verification is that we can do that now with AI. We have the resources to be able to say, look at how this thing is behaving before it's deployed and after it's deployed. Are there any issues? And if so, investigate them and alert me if there's something potentially wrong. And that's what we're going to be looking at today. So to demonstrate deployment verification, we have a very simple microservice chain running inside of Kubernetes. We have a gateway service, which talks to the checkout, and the checkout finally talks to the currency service. And the currency service is going to be the thing we will be investigating today. We are going to be introducing a bug. But the currency service's job is fundamentally to convert from one currency to another. And we're going to introduce a bug when it's converting from US dollars to euros in particular. So in version 1.0.1 of this service, conversion from US dollars to euros fails. So therefore the currency service throws a 500 back down to the checkout service. And subsequently the checkout service throws a 500 back down to the gateway. And Metoro's job will be to understand there actually is a problem in the first place post-deployment and investigates it and root cause it. To do so, it will be looking at all of the telemetry that we automatically collect from the cluster via eBPF, as well as analyzing the code of the currency service. Okay, so here we see the currency service. And as you can see, everything is good, only returning 200s. The checkout service is getting 200s. Everything looks fine. So what we're going to do now is we're going to roll out the bad version of the currency service by releasing 1.0.1. So we'll change the image tag here. That's going to cause a rollout. And subsequently, Metoro is going to notice that rollout and start to investigate the issue. So now that we've rolled that out, we should start to see 500s in a minute or two. We might have to wait a little bit longer to see the US dollar to euro pair come through. And there we go. We see our first 500s coming through. And if we investigate those, we will see that they're on the US dollar to euro pairing. We scroll down here and look at the currency service. We see from US dollars to euros. So we're seeing our first 500s now. So if we head back over to Slack, what we see here is that we've already noticed the deployment has rolled out from 1.00 to 1.0.1. And if we inspect inside of that, we can see that it's decided that it wants to investigate. So in this case, the image tag has changed. So therefore, code has changed. So therefore, we should investigate that. And we can go and look at the verification. So we can see that Metoro has made a plan on how it wants to investigate this particular rollout. And the first thing it's going to do is to start looking at the code. So we'll let Metoro do its run, and then we'll check back in after it's finished. Okay, so Guardian has finished up the analysis, and we can see that it's returned a root cause to us, which is that the post-deploy traces show new 500 errors on the /convert, 2 of them to be exact. And the code analysis indicates that there's a deterministic divide by 0 for US dollars to euros, which is the error that we expected. Jumping back a little bit to see exactly what it did here. It first created an investigation, then it looked at the code to be able to understand exactly where it wants to target the rest of its investigation. So for example, in this case, you can see the convert endpoint was changed, so we should look over there. But this would be in other systems, this would be whatever code has been changed, let's target our search around that. Then after that, it ran health checks to verify exactly what it was expecting to happen and like whether anything changed or not. And subsequently, it saw that there was a problem. It saw that there were 500s on that particular service. And as a result, it made the investigation with the root cause. So as we can see, we've also seen that Guardian here has linked this to an existing issue. This is recurring. So if we go and look at this issue, what we can see here is that this happens pretty frequently. So in this case, there are at least 9 other instances of this happening. And for this particular issue, Guardian has also created a fix. So we can view that in Metoro, and it's a code fix, which we can see over here. And in this case, it's so that this particular commit introduced the US dollar to euro special case block. And the fix here was just to remove that block, which causes the divide by 0, and subsequently add a load of tests to make sure that this doesn't happen again in future. So tying it all together and heading back to Slack. Here we see is that the deployment was marked as degraded. We can see new 500s on the endpoint, and it matches a known 1.0.1 division by 0 regression. So we can see that in our Slack directly without having to jump to Metoro.